That exquisite melt-in-your-mouth sensation, the rich, intoxicating aroma, the comforting warmth that melts away the day's worries. Modern chocolate is a universal language of pleasure, a multi-billion-dollar industry built on pure, unadulterated bliss. It's a spontaneous gift, a celebratory treat, a quiet moment of self-indulgence. But pause for a moment. What if everything you thought you knew about this beloved indulgence was merely the final, sweet chapter of an epic, astonishing tale? Journey with us back, through millennia, to a time when chocolate wasn't sweet, but a bitter, frothy, and fiercely potent elixir. To the emerald heart of ancient Mesoamerica, where the cacao bean was not a confection, but a sacred currency, a revered medicine, and a divine offering shared exclusively among kings, priests, and warriors. This wasn't a treat, it was a ritual, a drink of power, a symbol of life and death, consumed to commune with the gods themselves. From bitter brew to billion-dollar bliss, chocolate's royal transformation will peel back the layers of history, tracing the extraordinary odyssey of Theobroma cacao, food of the gods. We will voyage from the humid rainforest canopies where this mysterious bean first thrived, through its clandestine passage across oceans, into the gilded salons of European aristocracy, and finally, to the innovative laboratories and bustling factories that sculpted it into the smooth, sweet marvel we crave today. This is the story of a seed, once reserved for the elite, that reshaped empires, sparked revolutions in taste, and ultimately conquered the world's palate. Prepare to rediscover chocolate, not just as a taste, but as a force that shaped civilizations, fueled economies, and redefined luxury. From the moment it touches our lips, modern chocolate is pure delight, a sweet indulgence. But its story, its true genesis, lies buried not in candy shops, but deep within the steamy rainforests of Mesoamerica thousands of years ago. Here, amidst ancient trees and hidden civilizations, grew a pod unlike any other, the fruit of Theobroma cacao, or food of the gods. For early peoples, this wasn't a sweet treat, but a mysterious, potent bean, revered and even worshipped. Its discovery ignited a cultural revolution, forming the very bedrock of societies that would rise and fall around its bitter, sacred essence. Before sugar, before factories, there was only the raw, powerful spirit of cacao, a secret held close by those who first learned its ways. This ancient connection established chocolate's profound historical roots, far predating its sweet, modern form. Who first unlocked the secrets of this mysterious bean? Our journey leads us back to the enigmatic Olmec civilization, flourishing along the humid Gulf Coast of Mexico as early as 1500 BC. Often called Mesoamerica's mother culture, it was the Olmecs who were believed to be the pioneering cultivators of cacao, transforming it from a wild forest plant into a cherished agricultural crop. With remarkable ingenuity, they meticulously observed its growth cycles and developed the initial, intricate processes of fermentation, drying, roasting, and grinding that would unlock its potent, bitter flavors. For these ancient people, cacao was far more than sustenance. It was an esteemed commodity, likely reserved for ritualistic consumption by their elite rulers and shamans, a sacred elixir forging a powerful bridge between their world and the divine. Their foundational knowledge of cacao's potential laid the groundwork for millennia of reverence across Mesoamerica. Building on the Olmec legacy, the majestic Maya civilization elevated cacao to an unparalleled status, intertwining it deeply with their spiritual and daily lives. From roughly 250 to 900 AD, during their classic period, cacao, or cacao, was no longer merely a plant. It was the very drink of gods, a sacred elixir central to their most profound rituals and social ceremonies. Maya glyphs frequently depict rulers and deities consuming frothy cacao from elaborately painted vessels, signifying immense power, prestige, and divinity. This rich, bitter, and often spiced beverage fueled their complex society, used in everything from birth and marriage ceremonies to elaborate funerary rites, and even as solemn offerings to their pantheon of deities. For the Maya, cacao was a living, breathing component of their cosmos, a testament to its enduring, divine power and cultural significance. As Maya influence waned, another formidable empire rose in Mesoamerica, the Aztecs. From the 14th to the early 16th century, centered in their magnificent capital, Tenochtitlan, the Aztecs inherited and intensified the reverence for cacao. For them, the bitter, spicy concoction they called zacatl, literally bitter water, was reserved for the highest echelons of society. Emperor Montezuma was said to consume dozens of cups daily, believing it granted wisdom and vitality. It fueled elite warriors, providing courage and sustenance before battle. But cacao's power extended beyond ritual. It became a crucial form of currency, its beans used to pay taxes, tributes, and even purchase slaves. This strict control and immense value cemented cacao's role as a symbol of wealth, power, and divine favor within the mighty Aztec Empire, setting the stage for its dramatic encounter with the Old World. Imagine, if you will, a chocolate entirely devoid of sweetness. This was the profound reality of the ancient brew. The journey from raw bean to sacred drink was an intricate, labor-intensive ritual perfected over millennia by Mesoamerican peoples. After harvesting, cacao beans were carefully fermented and dried, then meticulously roasted over an open fire, filling the air with their rich, earthy aroma. Next, they were painstakingly ground on a matate stone, often by hand, transforming them into a thick paste. This paste was then mixed with water, cornmeal, and a complex array of indigenous spices, fiery chili peppers, fragrant vanilla, annatto for color, and often other local herbs. The mixture was then vigorously aerated by pouring it from height to create a characteristic frothy head, the hallmark of a potent, bitter elixir, profoundly different from any modern chocolate we know. Beyond its roles in ritual, currency, and nourishment, cacao served another vital purpose in ancient Mesoamerican societies: medicine. Revered for its potent properties, the bitter brew was an integral part of their sophisticated pharmacopoeia, a testament to its multifaceted value. Ancient texts and archaeological findings suggest cacao was a powerful stimulant, used to combat fatigue and provide sustained energy during long journeys or strenuous activities, much like a natural coffee. It was also employed as a digestive aid, believed to soothe stomach ailments and promote overall well-being. Mixed with other herbs and spices, it treated fevers, skin irritations, and even served as a topical dressing for wounds. For these ancient cultures, cacao's bitter essence was not just palatable, but a key component of its therapeutic efficacy, bridging the gap between sacred sustenance and healing remedy. Centuries passed, and the secret of cacao remained largely confined to the Americas. Then, in 1502, during his fourth and final voyage to the New World, Christopher Columbus had a fleeting, yet profoundly significant encounter. Off the coast of Guanaja Island, near modern-day Honduras, his crew intercepted a large indigenous trading canoe. Among its exotic cargo were strange, almond-shaped beans, which the natives seemed to guard with immense care. Columbus and his men, primarily focused on gold and new territories, noted the beans with curiosity, perhaps even tasting them. But they utterly failed to grasp the immense cultural and economic potential these bitter, brown seeds held. Unknowingly, Columbus had touched upon a future global commodity, a taste of luxury that would soon reshape continents. But its true power remained utterly veiled to the European eye. The true introduction of cacao to the European world wouldn't come until 1519, with the arrival of Hernán Cortés and his formidable conquistadors in the heart of the Aztec Empire. Welcomed, albeit cautiously, by Emperor Montezuma II in his opulent capital, Tenochtitlan, the Spanish were treated to the revered imperial beverage, zacatl. This was no sweet dessert. It was a dark, intensely bitter, frothy drink, often spiced with chili and vanilla, served cold in golden goblets. The conquistadors' initial reactions were a mix of revulsion and fascination. Accustomed to wine and beer, this foreign, unsweetened concoction was a shocking assault on their palates. Yet, they quickly observed its stimulating effects, how it invigorated Montezuma and his warriors. This bitter introduction would be the pivotal moment that set chocolate on its extraordinary and often tumultuous path to global domination. When the mysterious cacao beans finally reached the shores of Spain in the early 16th century, they arrived not as a common commodity, but as a closely guarded secret. Unlike the bitter, sacred brew of Mesoamerica, the Spanish elite quickly transformed chocolate into an exquisite, sweetened, and spiced delicacy. Initially reserved exclusively for royalty and the wealthiest aristocracy, this New World marvel was cloaked in a veil of secrecy, its preparation methods and enjoyment confined to the inner circles of the Spanish court. Imagine the hushed reverence as intricate silver cups, brimming with a warm, fragrant liquid infused with sugar, vanilla, and cinnamon, were presented to monarchs. This wasn't merely a drink. It was a potent symbol of power, wealth, and discovery, setting the stage for chocolate's dramatic European debut as an item of unparalleled prestige. The initial bitterness of cacao, so revered by its indigenous creators, was an acquired taste for the European palate. This prompted a pivotal transformation, the widespread integration of sugar. Beyond mere sweetness, European culinary ingenuity truly began to shape chocolate into something entirely new. Spices like cinnamon, vanilla, and even chili, a nod to its origins, yet reinterpreted, were meticulously blended, creating a sophisticated flavor profile that was a stark departure for the traditional Mesoamerican beverage. This wasn't just about making it palatable. It was about elevating it, refining it. From the private kitchens of Spanish grandees to apothecaries experimenting with its properties, chocolate shed its purely ritualistic skin, emerging as a rich, aromatic drink, perfectly tailored to aristocratic desires and firmly establishing its place as a luxury good. In Europe, chocolate was quickly imbued with an aura of mystique far beyond its exotic origins. It was not merely a drink. It was heralded as a potent elixir, a food of the gods with astounding properties. Rumors abounded. It was a restorative, a powerful stimulant capable of warding off fatigue, and even most provocatively, an aphrodisiac. Such claims, whether true or exaggerated, only cemented its place at the pinnacle of aristocratic society. To consume chocolate was to partake in a secret indulgence, a medicinal cure, and an undeniable display of immense wealth. Elaborate ceremonies accompanied its serving, showcasing the host's refined taste and financial power. It was a sensory experience, a conversation starter, and a clear demarcation of one's elevated social standing in a continent obsessed with hierarchy. The delicious secret of chocolate could not be contained within Spain's borders indefinitely. Through a web of strategic royal marriages, diplomatic gifts, and the ever-present curiosity of the European elite, cacao began its grand tour across the continent. First, it traveled south, finding a warm reception in Italy, particularly in the hands of resourceful confectioners and apothecaries. From Italy, its journey continued north and west. Princesses marrying into foreign courts carried their cherished chocolate traditions with them, transforming diplomatic unions into culinary conduits. Soon, the refined taste for chocolate reached France, its reputation as a sophisticated indulgence preceding it, setting the stage for its explosion in popularity and its eventual transformation from a Spanish exclusive to a European phenomenon. Nowhere did chocolate reach such heights of fashionable indulgence as in the courts of France. By the mid-17th century, under the Sun King, Louis XIV, chocolate became an indispensable fixture. It was Madame de Sévigné who famously documented its popularity, noting its stimulating effects. Later, figures like Madame de Pompadour, the influential mistress of Louis XV, further cemented its status, using it as a symbol of wit, pleasure, and sophisticated taste. Picture the glittering halls of Versailles, where ladies of high society, adorned in elaborate silks and powdered wigs, would delicately sip chocolate from exquisite cups, engaging in spirited conversation, their laughter echoing through the grand salons. Here, chocolate wasn't just a drink. It was an accessory, a facilitator of social interaction, a subtle yet powerful declaration of one's place at the pinnacle of French elegance and refinement. Across the English Channel, chocolate took on a different, yet equally vital, role. From the late 17th century onwards, London saw the burgeoning of chocolate houses, establishments that quickly rivaled the popular coffee houses as essential social and political gathering places. Here, amidst the bustling energy of gentlemen in powdered wigs and tailored coats, ideas were exchanged, deals were struck, and the latest news, both domestic and international, was debated. These chocolate houses were more than just venues for refreshment. They were crucibles of public opinion, where the aristocracy, merchants, and politicians mingled, stimulating conversation over steaming cups of the luxurious brew. This popularization helped to democratize chocolate, moving it beyond purely royal circles and firmly embedding it into the very fabric of English urban society, making it accessible, if still exclusive, to a broader, influential class. But behind Europe's growing appetite for this sweet, fashionable indulgence lay a grim and brutal reality. As demand for chocolate soared, so too did the demand for cacao beans, leading to the rapid expansion of plantations in European colonies, particularly in the Caribbean and Central and South America. These vast estates were fueled by immense human suffering. Forced labor and the abhorrent institution of slavery became the horrific backbone of the chocolate trade. Enslaved Africans and indigenous peoples were subjected to unimaginable cruelty, toiling under brutal conditions in tropical heat, harvesting the very beans that would bring pleasure to distant European tables. The elegant cups and sophisticated salons of London and Paris were built upon a foundation of forced servitude and exploitation, a stark and bitter truth at the heart of chocolate's royal transformation. As demand continued to surge, the laborious, hand-grinding methods of processing cacao, which had remained largely unchanged for centuries, proved insufficient. Even before the full force of the Industrial Revolution transformed manufacturing, inventive minds began seeking more efficient ways to extract the rich cacao liquor. Early attempts at mechanization emerged, replacing stone metates and pestles with rudimentary water-powered mills and geared grinding mechanisms. These early machines, often crafted from wood and iron, represented a crucial leap. Though still far from the automated factories of the future, they could process larger quantities of beans with less human effort, laying the groundwork for the industrial-scale production that would eventually make chocolate accessible to the masses, a pivotal step towards its modern, beloved form. For centuries, chocolate remained a coarse, often gritty experience. Its transformation into the smooth delight we know today began not in a grand palace, but in a quiet Dutch workshop. In 1828, Coenraad Johannes van Houten, a brilliant chemist, unveiled an invention that would forever alter chocolate's destiny, the cocoa press. This ingenious machine applied immense pressure to roasted cocoa beans, separating the precious cocoa butter from the solid cocoa mass, which could then be ground in a fine powder. This revolutionary process not only made chocolate more palatable by reducing its bitterness and allowing for a smoother texture, but it also opened up a world of possibilities. Suddenly, chocolate was no longer just a thick beverage. Its very composition had been redefined, paving the way for entirely new forms. With Van Houten's press providing a stable, separable cocoa butter, the stage was set for the next monumental leap. In 1847, in the bustling industrial city of Bristol, England, the Quaker firm of J.S. Fry and Sons achieved what many had only dreamed of. By expertly combining cocoa powder, sugar, and the newly available melted cocoa butter, they created the world's first edible chocolate bar. No longer a drink, no longer a lumpy paste, this was a solid, moldable, and truly delectable treat. It was a revelation, a portable indulgence that could be savored, broken, and shared. This single innovation marked the true dawn of modern chocolate as a confectionery, transforming it from a niche beverage into a potentially universal delight, ready for the masses. The path laid by Fry and Sons was soon followed, and arguably perfected, by another Quaker family with a profound vision, Cadbury. From their base in Birmingham, England, the Cadbury brothers, John, George, and Richard, were not just manufacturers. They were innovators driven by deep ethical values. They embraced industrialization, developing advanced techniques for refining cocoa, blending flavors, and creating smoother textures. But their impact extended beyond the product itself. They built model villages like Bourneville for their workers, embodying their commitment to social welfare. Through shrewd marketing and a dedication to quality, Cadbury elevated the chocolate bar from a novelty to an everyday luxury, solidifying its place in the hearts and homes of the burgeoning middle class. While the chocolate bar gained traction, its intense, often bitter flavor remained a barrier for some. The quest for a creamier, milder profile led to the picturesque valleys of Switzerland. There, in the town of Vevey, a persistent chocolatier named Daniel Peter embarked on a mission that would change chocolate forever. For years, Peter struggled to blend milk into solid chocolate. The water content caused it to seize and spoil. But in 1875, after countless experiments, he found his breakthrough. By using Henri Nestlé's newly developed condensed milk, Peter finally created a stable, smooth, and immensely appealing milk chocolate. This softer, sweeter, and more luxurious variety exploded in popularity, appealing to an even wider audience and solidifying Switzerland's reputation as a chocolate innovator. Daniel Peter's triumph with milk chocolate would have been impossible without the crucial contribution of another Swiss pioneer, Henri Nestlé. Years before Peter's breakthrough, Nestlé, also based in Vevey, had developed a groundbreaking process for condensing milk to create farine lactée, an infant formula designed to combat high infant mortality rates. This invention provided a stable, concentrated, and dry milk product, precisely what Peter needed to overcome the challenges of adding liquid milk to chocolate. The partnership between Peter and Nestlé was a stroke of genius, marrying scientific innovation for infant nutrition with confectionery ambition. Nestlé's condensed milk didn't just nourish babies. It inadvertently supplied the missing ingredient that would transform chocolate into a global phenomenon, underscoring how interconnected seemingly disparate industries can be. Even with milk, chocolate could still retain a slightly granular, unrefined texture. The final key to unlocking truly melt-in-your-mouth chocolate came, once again, from Switzerland. In 1879, another Swiss chocolatier, Rodolphe Lindt, made an accidental, yet monumental, discovery. Legend says he left a mixer running overnight, forgetting to turn it off. The next morning, instead of a hardened, gritty mass, he found a surprisingly smooth, glossy, and exquisitely fragrant chocolate. This prolonged, continuous grinding and mixing process became known as conching, named after the shell-shaped conch machine. Conching evenly distributes cocoa butter, volatilizes undesirable acids, and refines particle size, transforming chocolate into the velvety, luxurious confection we adore. It was the ultimate refinement, perfecting chocolate's texture for generations to come, with the European masters perfecting chocolate's form, flavor, and texture. The stage was set for its mass-market revolution, spearheaded by an American visionary, Milton Hershey. Unlike his European counterparts, who often catered to luxury markets, Hershey dreamed of making chocolate accessible and affordable for everyone. In the early 20th century, he built a chocolate empire in Pennsylvania, centered around an unprecedented commitment to mass production. Hershey innovated at every stage, from farming techniques to factory assembly lines, ensuring consistent quality at a fraction of the cost. His iconic Hershey's milk chocolate bar became a symbol of American ingenuity, transforming chocolate from an exclusive treat into an everyday pleasure for millions, forever democratizing bliss. The 20th century witnessed an explosion of global chocolate giants, building on the foundations laid by their predecessors. Companies like Mars, with its innovative nougat and caramel creations like Snickers and Milky Way, introduced new textures and flavor combinations, rapidly expanding their reach. Nestle, having played a pivotal role in milk chocolate's inception, grew into a formidable global force, diversifying its portfolio to include an array of beloved brands worldwide. Aggressive marketing, sophisticated distribution networks, and a relentless pursuit of new product development ensured chocolate's omnipresence. From humble, bitter beginnings, this mysterious bean had conquered every corner of the globe, transforming into a multi-billion-dollar industry and an undeniable staple of modern life. We began our extraordinary journey in the verdant heart of Mesoamerica, witnessing a bitter, sacred brew reserved for royalty and ritual. Now, at the culmination of From Bitter Brew to Billion-Dollar Bliss, we stand in awe of chocolate's unparalleled transformation. From a divine offering, a potent medicine, and a vital form of currency, it has evolved into the universally cherished sweet treat gracing every corner of the globe, a symbol of joy and comfort. This odyssey has revealed not just a change in flavor, but a profound cultural, economic, and social revolution. Chocolate sparked global trade routes, fueled colonial expansion, inspired centuries of culinary innovation, and ultimately made luxury accessible to the masses. Its journey mirrors humanity's own relentless quest for pleasure, discovery, and connection. Yet its story is far from over. As we continue to savor its enduring appeal, we must also acknowledge the complex legacy of its past, the labor, the landscapes, the lives entwined in its production. The future of chocolate demands mindful innovation, ethical sourcing, and sustainable practices, ensuring its magic continues for generations to come. So, with every melt-in-your-mouth moment, remember the kings, the gods, the explorers, and the countless innovators. Appreciate the profound, powerful history contained within that single, remarkable bite.